deep left field. Gone!
Edge of our seat, first 2 games of this series decided by a total of 3 runs. Last night's game moved as quickly as those clouds overhead. It's the Sox and the Indians in game number 3 tonight. And what can these guys do for the encore after Giolito and Bieber? It's Carlos Rodón in his second start, and he will face Zach Plesac of the Cleveland Indians. We thank you for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, happy to bring you White Sox baseball. And look, we had a great pitching matchup last night. This could be sneaky good tonight.
These 2 guys really threw it well in the early going. Now, Carlos got sick, missed a couple of days, but I'm sure he's 100%, and he's going to have to be against an Indians team that's playing pretty good, solid baseball right now. So last time out against the Mariners, 5 innings, and Carlos threw it as well as you could throw it. 19 times the Mariners swung and missed. As you can see, only 1 ground ball, but 3 walks and 9 strikeouts. That'll get it done each and every time. So he's hoping to keep the pitch count down and go deep into the game. His opponent tonight, Zach Plesac, is a good one. Strong young pitcher with very good control and a good changeup. Everything he throws sinks. And at the top of his game, he is a good one. As you can see last year, 1.74 ERA. The Sox didn't do a whole lot with him. And you look at the strikeouts to walks, well, he can get it done. So try to get him early. That's the best way to get a good pitcher.
You said he can get it done. That's our Home Depot getting more done. We'll tell you about the Sox offense when we come back and see what might be able to get it on track tonight after getting blanked yesterday by Bieber and Karinchak. Sox and Indians on the horizon. From Evan Marshall last night as the Sox and Indians played through 9 scoreless. And so with Cleveland in town, you always ask yourself, how's the offense going to show itself? And the Sox are thinner than they expected going into this series, say, a month ago.
But the reemergence of the Yerminator, that's who's back in the lineup. So that's one of the things we'll watch tonight. But we've got other things on the open for you.
Yeah, we do. Those guys. Tim Anderson's likely going to be back tomorrow. Adam Engel not long after.
That's a lot of offense out of the lineup, and the loss of Eloy is a big one. He's probably going to drive in 120 runs, but we're going to see Tim tomorrow. When we do, he gives you a guy who won a batting title and a Silver Slugger last year. That's going to really help the offense, and Engel maybe 10 days, 2 weeks away. These are the guys in his absence that have to heat it up. Grandal is not in the starting lineup tonight, but Abreu and Moncada are. Moncada in the 4 spot has got to start hitting the ball from both sides of the plate. We've seen 1 home run as a left-hander. We'd like to see a lot more. And Jose is pressing, trying to do everything in each and every at-bat. Now 9 runs batted in is good, but he's hit 2 grand slams. And other than that, he's been kind of quiet. He's not going to stay quiet for long. And he said he heats it up as the weather heats up.
You know, one guy who's been swinging it well is Adam Eaton. The power has been there in the first couple weeks.
Kind of surprising. He's hit 3 home runs. He says he changed his stroke, and with that, he's able to put a charge into the ball. He doesn't hit them far. He hits line drives that are going out of the ballpark. Plus, he's driving in some big runs. He's had some key hits for the Sox. Let's hope for more of the same tonight.
He will lead it off against Zach Plesac as the offense tries to find its stroke against Cleveland. Carlos Rodón takes to the hill when we come back. Settle in for White Sox baseball. Cold. It's not just chilly tonight. It's 47 degrees. It'll wake you up. This is a fun day to be at the ballpark. I like it.
I always figured with these kind of temperatures, it very much favors the pitcher. Number 1, they can get loose, they can stay loose, and number 2, hitters do not like to see the ball in on their hands.
So you would pitch inside more on a day like today?
Well, yeah, just to see if there was any feeling in the hitter's hands. I mean, I just want to make sure that they were feeling comfortable in the box.
Yeah, that's what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Terry Francona on the Cleveland bench, and here is his Insure on the Spot starting lineup. More sincere than Steve's comment. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. That's weighted on base average, WOBA. Jordan Luplow at the top is a lefty killer. He'll be followed by Hernandez and Ramirez, a couple of switch hitters. You said it before the game. We've seen some good at-bats from Naylor in the series and down to 9 at Chang.
Carlos Rodón last time out against Seattle was absolutely brilliant. 19 times he threw something that they swung and missed. That's a rare performance, and he had the velocity, he had the location, and he did just about everything right. So against the Indians, he's 5-5. His ERA is pretty good. Last time out, he threw a lot of four-seamers and got a lot of ride, especially up and into the right-handers. The slider was very good. Didn't use a changeup or curveball very much because he didn't have to. Now he's coming off being sick for a day or so, and hopefully today he can refine that magic that he had in Seattle. Our UI Health defense. This is how Tony La Russa is going to put him out there with Andrew Vaughn in left field. Luis Robert in center. Adam Eaton, the very hot Adam Eaton in right field. Then it's Yohan, Liuri, Nick and Jose in the infield with Zach Collins behind the plate and Carlos Rodón on the hill.
Carlos has handled the Indians very well, as you see tonight's umpires. You normally do that, but I was already talking, so why don't you take it now?
No, go get him. Bill Miller did a really nice job behind the plate last night. He's at third base, and Doug Eddings has the plate.
See, that was cohesion. Very nice.
I like cohesion.
Is it your favorite cohesion?
Yes.
Carlos Rodón to Jordan Luplow, who is just dynamic against left-handed pitchers, and that's why he's in the lineup. He lofts it to left, and Rodón gets an out to Andrew Vaughn from Jordan Luplow. We will show you next time he comes up how historically good he is against left-handed pitchers compared to what he does against righties.
He was sitting dead fastball first pitch. He got his fastball, but it got inside and beat him just a bit. He knows he got a pitch he might have been able to handle. He didn't get it in the spot he wanted it. Turned into a fly ball, one pitch, one out.
Steve, the first inning is brought to you by Toyota. To you specifically. Cesar Hernandez. First pitch is a strike on a fastball. Carlos was about 50-50 first pitch strikes in his first start against the Mariners.
I'm not looking for him to get up to 98 again, which he was on occasion in Seattle. But he really doesn't have to be effective. I mean, he can pitch in the mid-90s, and if he gets two strikes, that wipeout slider is just outstanding. Might have to mix in a few more off-speed pitches against these Indians.
Oh, yeah?
Like that.
You think?
Yep. Good change. He wants to establish this early, give him something to look at. And look at that. Good spot for it.
1-2. Another changeup, 2-2. We heard from Yasmani Grandal after Carlos's first start. Carlos has added that curveball into his repertoire. He was a three-pitch pitcher before. He threw 5 curveballs against Seattle, and that's something he's baked in along with that slider, which you saw right there.
You just as soon retire Hernandez ahead of Ramirez, because Ramirez has handled Carlos pretty well. Not a whole lot of people he doesn't handle well.
On the ground to shortstop. Leori Garcia on the go for out number 2. Time for StatCast, presented by Google Cloud. And Carlos Rodón had a bundle of strikeouts early in that game against the Mariners. You see 9 strikeouts total, and a chunk of them with that slider, as you might expect.
That's his put-away pitch. If he gets to 2 strikes, he's going to try to bury that down and into the right-handers. And left-handers, and he doesn't face many, but they don't have much of a chance if he can get to 2 strikes and use that one.
Yeah, nice to have him on the mound with the way Eddie Rosario has been swinging it in this series. Now Rosario can hit anybody, but lefty-lefty, you neutralize him a little bit. Two balls, no strikes on Ramirez, who's got 4 strikeouts in the series, and the Sox, to their credit, have handled Ramirez pretty well so far.
Well, especially from the left side. They've been throwing him upstairs. He swings through him. Right-handed might be a little bit better hitter. And he's had luck against Carlos, and Carlos has fallen behind. But he went to the fastball. It was a little higher in the zone, and it was at 94, which is a good sign.
Yeah, average fastball, you were talking about the top end at 98. His average fastball against the Mariners was 95.5.
I mean, he had one of those nights where the fastball was popping all night. You can see the game plan against Ramirez from both sides of the plate. They don't want to throw him down. Anytime you do, he hits it awfully hard. But throwing high fastballs, especially flirting with the top end of the zone, usually either fouls it back or misses it.
Reyes goes to pluck the baseball from behind the plate. And Ramirez pops this up back toward home again. Zach Collins has it for out number 3, and Carlos Rodón completes an easy does it 1-2-3 first. Adam Eaton, you're next. Bottom of the first inning. Put your hood up and enjoy the ball game. Time now for the Insure on the Spot starting lineups. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. That is weighted on base average, which gives you some grand credit for doubles, triples, and home runs, walks included, etc., etc. Eaton, Robert Abreu, Moncada, Mercedes, and Collins. Andrew Vaughn back in the lineup after a couple days off, and Garcia and Madrigal.
Zach Plesac, an excellent pitcher, just getting better. He's very young in the sport, but he's got all kinds of skills, and he pitches backwards. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But he throws so many breaking pitches and then uses that to throw his fastball. So the four-seamer against the Tigers, he threw a lot at 45 of them. The slider was 24. He'll probably use that a bit more, especially if there's a right-hand dominated lineup. The changeup 19 times, and he's got a pretty good one. The curveball only 9.
He is typically pinpoint in his command as he throws ball 1. He led the league in strikeout to walk ratio last year at 9.5 to 1. That's 57 strikeouts and 6 walks.
No, it was a pretty amazing season for him, and he's just another of the Indians pitchers that look like they're going to be on a long time. The mechanics are nice. The Indians do a great job of picking out a type of pitcher they like. Usually it's a guy that throws anywhere from 90 to 91, maybe 92. They figure they can buy him with good mechanics, another couple of miles an hour, but they like a guy with a feel for the strike zone. Plesac an example of that, and so is Bieber.
Mixes his stuff very well, as most Cleveland pitchers do in the starting rotation, as there's a changeup for Eaton.
And among their starting pitchers, they don't have blazers, they have pitchers.
McKenzie's scary. When he gets better and better, that arm is really live watching on Monday night.
Well, I think the key for him, if he can, now when you're 6'5" and you weigh 165 pounds, there's not a lot of meat on your bones to be able to throw at the hitter. But I think they would like to believe that he could pick up 15 pounds or so. So far he's been unable to do it. We'll see how long he can go, and he hasn't pitched for the better part of a couple of years, so they're going to limit the innings.
Eaton to short. Rosario plants, and Rosario can't get him. Adam Eaton safe at first base.
That's got to be a base hit, because as Rosario went to plant that back foot, it just slipped out from under him. Now this is a guy that eventually is going to find his way to center field, I believe. Here he goes to plant, and nothing doing. Eaton hustling down the line. He beats the play. That will go as a base hit, and should.
Well, hits yesterday were hard to come by. Although the Sox had 1 in the first inning, it was a grand total of 3 against Shane Bieber all night long. Eaton had 1 of them in the 9th inning of a game that went scoreless into the 10th. Another throw on Eaton.
Both their right-hand pitchers that we've seen in this series have very good moves to first base. McKenzie, not so much, because he's very big at 6'5". Takes a while for him to unfold, but Bieber and Plesac have very quick feet.
Well, Zach Plesac was an outstanding football wide receiver at Crown Point High School in Indiana. He, in fact, holds in a tie the single season reception lead for Crown Point's Bulldogs in Northwest Indiana. He had 60 catches in one high school season.
That's a good year.
It was a very good year. Luis Robert tags this ball into left field, and Eaton will pump the brakes at second base. This is a good start for the Sox. We said it in the open. There are tools here offensively. We just have not seen it in this series very much.
Well, we heard from some of the folks. Why don't they move down Robert? Why don't they bench Robert? Why don't they get Robert a chance to take a look? Folks, with the talent this guy has, you don't bench him. You play him every day, and eventually when he figures it out, he's going to be one of the most destructive hitters in baseball. He's just too good not to figure it out. And when he is not overmatched by the fastball, he will adjust to the breaking ball. He's a surprisingly good breaking ball hitter in the strike zone. His problem comes with expanding his zone, and that's a product of youth.
Then they get him off balance for the fastball. Right now he's at first, Eaton at second. Nobody out, and Jose Abreu looks at ball one on a changeup.
If Jose would be kind enough to foul one off, we can give you the defense.
How about if he just puts one in left center field?
Well, then we'll give you the defense later.
You're ready for any contingency.
Yes.
I like that.
We have a plan.
One ball, no strikes.
UI Health Defense. This is how Terry Francona is going to put them out there this evening with Rosario, Luplow, and Naylor in the outfield. Ramirez, Rosario, Hernandez, and Chang in the infield. Roberto Perez behind the plate. And we told you about Zach Plesac. He's one of the better young right-handers around.
26 years old, Zach Plesac, against the veteran Jose Abreu, now 34 years of age. Jose lays off another breaking ball, 2-1.
Well, because of advanced scouting and because of video, the league right now knows in the early going Jose is swinging at low pitches. He's trying to do a whole lot, and if he lays off those low pitches and makes the pitching come to him, he's going to get it done. And he said before the game, I'm generally a slow starter, but don't worry, I will be there.
Were you worried?
I was not worried in the least.
It's down again. It's 3 balls and a strike.
Laying off the low pitch is really a great sign. That means he's seeing it well and just waiting to unload on one. The Indians are playing him a couple of steps into right center field. He's got the whole left center field gap. And there is the defense.
Again, Plesac does not walk very many people. He ironed out some walk issues from year one. He had 40 walks in 2019 in 115 innings, 3 per 9 as the crowd boos. Plesac running the 4 corners at the Roy Williams North Carolina Tar Heels. This is the type of stuff that did not happen last night. Bieber and Giolito were cooking.
Well, you got pitchers of that caliber both on their games, and they were in great rhythm. That's a part of it. Get in rhythm. The catcher keeps you in that rhythm, and when you have the stuff of Giolito and Bieber, you just captivate the hitters.
3-1. Jose swings through a changeup. All right, so it's been slider, changeup. What do you got here?
I would think that if Plesac has confidence he can get his slider over the plate, that's what Jose will see. He wants him to try to pull the ball to the left side of the infield.
Eaton at second, Robert at first.
Jose is looking for something up in the zone that he can handle.
Plesac's ready. Jose in the air to right field. And Naylor, he just got inside on him. Eaton's going to peel away for third. And runners at the corners for the Sox here in the first inning.
This is where Yohan Moncada has got to start coming through, because if Tony La Russa is going to continue to hit him fourth, he's got to hit the way we knew he can a couple of years ago. Last year was COVID related, and you can't judge anything by that. He had a good spring. Hopefully he can come awake here, because if you're going to hit fourth, you've got to produce some runs. And here's a golden opportunity to take the lead over the Indians early.
And also, again, we've said it a bunch, but it's worth repeating that the more Moncada drives in runs, the more comfortable Jose Abreu is at zoning and hitting balls that are strikes. Yoan bashes this ball up the middle. That was a guillotine shot, and it drives in the Sox first run tonight for a 1-0 lead.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. Moncada, aggressive early in the count, gets a fastball to his liking, takes it right back up the middle, and it's 1-0 Sox. This ball drifts right over the middle of the plate, hits the glove of Plesac. By the way, Plesac is a very good defender. He is outstanding with the glove, but this one was hit so hard that he could barely get it up in time. He's trying to defend himself, but not before it goes into center field.
101.1 off the bat at 60 feet 6 inches away.
Really hard to react, and he's very fortunate he didn't get hit with that one.
Yoan's driven in 3 runs this year. They've all come in the first inning of a ball game as Yermin Mercedes takes a ball low.
Now it's really early in this one, but so far Zach Plesac, for whatever reason, doesn't have near the command that we saw all of last year. Every time he went to the mound against our ball club, he was able to spot all of his pitches, stay ahead of the hitters, and be very aggressive early. Now he's fallen behind, and the Sox are trying to really take advantage of it in the first.
Yermin Mercedes, a galactical 3-run home run. He unloaded again.
For the game, Sheena Quinn stopped up, gave us the Yerminator t-shirt. We showed it in the open, and we said it's his reemergence in the lineup. This is a bomb. Ford home run replay. He gets a fastball. It's middle in and up, and this leaves nothing to the imagination. I mean, he gets it on the sweet spot. You can take a look at that one, young man, because it's going to go for a while.
Wow. Is there muscle in that guy?
That's got to be 465, you would assume, wouldn't you?
And if you're saying it's 465, it's probably 515.
And they're certainly happy feet.
Oh my gosh. So StatCast says 431, Steve.
Well, it's a cool night.
The changeup outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, everything in his mind about what his major league career was going to be was in his imagination, and now his baseball bat is leaving nothing to the imagination. Those are powerhouse home runs, Steve.
Well, we'll take another look at it. This is actually wonderfully entertaining. If you were sitting out here, it would be in your lap.
So now look, what's that, 15 rows deep or so?
Probably longer than that.
20 maybe?
Yeah.
You're sitting up there. You do not expect that you're going to get a home run ball, right?
Especially tonight. I think the wind is blowing against it. I also believe that it's very chilly. Obviously, we know it's in the mid-40s, but that ball was just absolutely crushed.
2-2. Right hand side to second, and Hernandez. Zach Collins is out. I know it's maddening for a fan. You watched the game last night, and we had a lot of people tweeting at us today, well, where's the offense? What's going on with the offense? What's wrong with the offense? And you look at Plesac is not the type of guy you want to face when you're in that mode, when offense is hard to come by. But the Sox have hopped on him very early today.
Well, they also have been hit pretty hard, so there's not a bloop or a bleeder in the bunch. Even the ball that Eaton hit was hit pretty well. But a rocket off the bat of Robert, Moncada, and of course Mercedes, and it's 4-zip early.
Andrew Vaughn, left field line. That rolls along the chalk. It's a fair ball. Andrew Vaughn back in the lineup, and he's got a 2-out double in the first inning.
Tried to get inside on Vaughn. He opens up and takes it right down the line. You're probably going to see a lot more of swings like that from Andrew Vaughn. I like what Tim Anderson said about him. Tim said, I take batting practice with him every day. He has a wonderful approach. He has a good idea about what he has to do, and he is going to hit. And Tim Anderson, who started slowly in his career, had a hard time figuring out what the pitchers were doing to him. Now one of the best hitters in baseball. I believe he can recognize the talent in Andrew Vaughn.
The good news is Tim Anderson, what he adds to the lineup, and I know we showed you Eloy him as before the game. Eloy's obviously not going to come back for a long while, but you add Tim Anderson into the mix and it makes the lineup a deeper lineup, which is good news for the Sox. But also, I think everybody recognizes this. When Tim Anderson is in the lineup, there's a little bit more verve to the offense as well. There's a little bit more panache, joie de vivre.
Just going to use
no,
that.
You weren't.
I absolutely was. You know, I'm quadrilingual, and that's one of the quads. So yeah,
it is.
Joie de vivre. Oh, it's been my life.
What? Oh, really? The closest you've been to the Eiffel Tower is Thai France. First pitch hunting Leury Garcia to right field at the wall, and it's over the head of Naylor. Sox will get another run. Leury Garcia's got a nickel for the Sox in the first inning.
Indians bullpen is getting ready as quickly as they possibly can, and on a cold night that's not easy, but Zach Plesac is getting hammered here in the first. You're wondering where the offense is? It's right here. Leury Garcia on a first ball fastball takes it over the head of Naylor. He sets up, but it goes over his head. Leury drives in a run. That's his second, and back-to-back doubles.
Nick Madrigal has quite the interesting season for you. Out of 334 players who qualify for the leaderboard, Nick Madrigal has the fewest swings and misses in Major League Baseball. He has swung and missed once all year. To right center. Pour it on. Number 6 on the way home. And the Sox have hit around in the first inning against Zach Plesac.
First run batted into the year for Nick Madrigal, who takes it in the gap into right center field. And a question for Terry Francona: how long does he want to wait? You certainly don't want to cover 8 1/3 innings out of your bullpen, but he might have no choice. 6 on the board early. The boys are hitting the ball right on the sweet spot. And I've always viewed it as a good omen when your leadoff hitter hits twice in the first inning.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, I believe in your Oracle status. You didn't have to hard sell me on that one, but now you completely close the deal as here comes Terry Francona. That's going to be it, Steve.
Yeah, disappointing night for Zach Plesac, and something we didn't see all of last year. I think you can add up all the hard hit balls his first inning, and we could have seen it in his appearances last year, 3 of them against the Sox. So they're going to go to the bullpen early. It's going to be Trevor Stephan, and Plesac will depart, and we will step out. This is the earliest Lakeside Bank we've had. So now it's time for the Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Trevor Stephan comes into this game. He's been in a couple of games this year. The ERA is up there. Only a couple of innings, 3 strikeouts and a walk, and left-hand hitters have hurt him. Terry Francona needs some innings, as a shocking departure by Zach Plesac, who had the Sox number last year, but not so this evening.
This is a shock. because the Indians can pitch, and Zach Plesac specifically can pitch, but the Sox have ambushed him tonight. 7 hits in 9 batters, and here is Adam Eaton, who started it all with a ground ball base hit to short. Crowd's booing because they'd like more home runs, please, not throws to first.
With that home run by Yermin, he ties Adam Eaton with 10 driven in. That's the club lead right now.
Yermin Mercedes is now basically making a case that he belongs in the lineup every day.
You know, I think it's a question of make him prove that he can't hit, because he hasn't seemed overmatched by anybody yet.
Even Bieber last night, you said it during the at-bat.
I thought he had one of the better at-bats of the night against Bieber, who was at his all-time best.
Adam gets hit. The inning continues. I love a parade. Madrigal to second, and Luis Roberts coming up.
It's supposed to be an outside fastball, and Adam figures it's good to get aboard. Helps the on-base percentage.
He's no Michael Conforto.
No, he didn't lean into it, but he wasn't exactly killing himself to get out of the way, but he winds up at first base.
At least it was out of the zone.
Yeah.
2 on 2 out. Luis Robert, first inning pile-on continues, and Luis hits this ball high in the air to center field. Luplo makes the catch. The Sox have a fast car. It is Yermin Mercedes to the moon. Yermin, 6-0. Who like to reminisce about the halcyon days when runs weren't being scored at a 6-run per inning clip, we bring you last night on White Sox baseball. And it's Lucas Giolito versus Shane Bieber. The baseball fluttering through the air with the greatest of ease, but not for hitters, as these two combine to mystify and confound Cleveland Indians and Chicago White Sox alike. How fun was that last night? Whoa, we got an opera guy.
Oh yeah, it was. They were both terrific, the opera guy and the game last night. If you love pitching and you like a dramatic, tough and tight ball game, last night was your game. Both pitchers were just outstanding.
Ball and strike on Franmil Reyes. Hey, the second inning is brought to you by Menards. I get all the short reads.
I know.
You get the essay question.
Right. Then I get Marquette Bank for a week and a half.
1-2 for Franmil Reyes. Sox up 6-0 today in, again, it's the first week and a half in the season, and I know people aren't looking at the standings, but when you scan around Major League Baseball and you see the way teams have started, there is just not much spread between the top of the heap and the bottom of the barrel. Most teams are hanging around 6-5, 5-6.
Yeah, right now, I don't know if any team really knows the character of their ball club. I mean, Minnesota's not exactly tearing it up, and they got a really good team.
That was a nasty breaking ball, and Reyes somehow laid off.
I can see this division being one of the tougher divisions in baseball, and I think it's going to be close all the way. And a lot of people were quick to say, well, Cleveland's not going to be there because, you know, they traded away pitching and they traded away Lindor. Cleveland's got a solid team.
Reyes end of the bat to left. Andrew Vaughn parks to make the catch. Your 2021 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Learn how you can turn your belief in a new home into action at rate.com. If you believe, you will. I love, Steve, that the Sox aren't playing the Twins until the second week of May for the first time, which means a backloaded schedule against the presumptive team you're going to be battling for most. And I'm not discounting Cleveland. I know you just said please don't do that. You didn't even say please, so I won't. But the Sox and Twins should be there at the end if Cleveland's involved as well.
Well, I think Cleveland is going to be involved as well, and Kansas City is not going to be what they were last year. They're going to be a whole lot tougher. Detroit's still going to have a difficult year, but I think the division is going to be a difficult one.
But the Tigers aren't a walkover this year.
No, I
don't think.
No, they've got some pitching. They got some good young pitching, and how it holds up will determine how they do. But they're not going to get there. The division, at least at this point, is too tough for them, and they're in the early stages of their rebuilding. But Minnesota lost a pair to Boston, and how about those Red Sox? After an 0-3 start, they're now 9-3.
I don't think I'm the only person who walked into a broadcast booth after day 3 of the season and said, wow, the Red Sox aren't very good at all.
Getting swept at home?
Yeah, by the Orioles.
Yep.
Who knows, right? Who knows what you're going to get? We'll see Boston close up at Fenway Park coming up in a wraparound series this weekend, as Rosario dejectedly watches this ball end up with Andrew Vaughn, and 2 down.
Carlos has been able to spot his fastball tonight once again. That was his strong suit in Seattle. He had a good slider, and he used the occasional curve and change, but he was able to spot his fastball really well. Now tonight he's not thrown it by these Cleveland hitters quite as much, but he doesn't have to. Just spot it. They're not getting the good part of the bat on it, and right now it's been pretty soft contact through 5 hitters.
Here is Rosario. Ahmed Rosario takes a strike. He's 5 for 21 with his new team so far this year.
Had a big pinch hit last night.
He did. He crushed that ball. Off speed strike, 0-2. Carlos he looks freer on the mound.
He looks confident. He looks confident because he's working much more quickly.
And that was, let me put you away, and he did with a ground ball to first base. So 6 up, 6 down for Carlos Rodón. The race is on. Jose versus Carlos. Who will win? We'll find out next. Even with a mask on, and even with an umpire in the way of the shot of people taking in the ball game, 6-0 your score. Sox with the lead on a 7-hit first inning, and we will see your Mean Mercedes hit in this second. If you're keeping score at home, please cross off the 3 column and make it into a 2, and then do so with the remainder of the innings. And here's hoping you have to adjust once again before the game's over. That's always fun, isn't it? Early bat around, you have to change all the innings in your scorebook.
I think it's really nice, especially when you can go 1, then you have to go 1 again, and then go down the line. Only time I don't like it is when you have to expand your pitching line, like 8-9 pitchers deep.
Oh, well, I mean, that's number 1. It hurts your heart as a pitcher. And then number 2, you don't have a slide rule over there, do you?
No.
Terry Francona and Tony La Russa, a Hall of Famer and a prospective Hall of Famer, managing against one another. And we did some digging with the fine folks at Sport Radar about the wins just across from one another that Tony La Russa and Terry Francona have as managers. And this is not the number 1 matchup all time in terms of wins that they have at the time of the game. There are some guys in front of them, but Tony La Russa is involved in some of the top games. We'll show you in a moment. But he and Francona combined over 4,000 managerial wins in Major League Baseball history. And here are the top games that we've seen. Connie Mack and Joe McCarthy in 1950. Connie Mack managed until he was about 90 years old. He's 87 when he managed his final season.
I say bring back the suit for managers.
I agree with you. I think it looked upstanding. You see La Russa and Bobby Cox, by the way, in 2010. La Russa against Joe Torre in 2010 with combined victories as well. But 44-41 in the 11th place spot. The game you're watching tonight, 2 tremendous managers.
Well, one is a Hall of Famer, and one undoubtedly is going to be a Hall of Famer. It's just a question of when Terry Francona wants to hang it up. You look at his consecutive years over 500, and he's doing it. Okay, so you say he had good teams in Boston. Yes, he did have good teams in Boston. However, when he got to Cleveland, it wasn't a particularly good team, but Terry made them better. And then they have become a very good team under Terry Francona. So they made the right choice. They could have gone out and gotten anybody when the managerial job came available. But the one guy they centered on was Terry Francona, and they asked him right away, is this something you'd be interested in? As soon as he said he'd be interested in it, that was pretty much it. That's the end of the candidates, and Terry got the job, and they're very happy. He's a good man. They love him in Cleveland, and why not? He is a terrific manager.
Just glad to see Terry back in the dugout after his health trouble that he had last year that took him out for a while. You're right. He's a good man. He's always been very open and honest with his players. Players love playing for him. He's also got the quirk of being a left-handed third baseman back in the day.
Well, he also consults the players about decisions that are made on the team, because he feels if they're involved, then they have a certain amount of responsibility, and it works well for both parties.
It's a high fastball for strike 3 and the first strikeout tonight.
We're officially 100 days from the Tokyo Olympics. Catch it all on the networks of NBC this summer.
I don't know about you. I love watching the Olympics.
I think it's great. I really do.
What's your favorite Olympic sport to watch?
I like rowing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We had Cuyahoga River in Cleveland was great to row on. Your paddles melted.
When it wasn't on fire.
But that was, I digress. That was a long time ago.
So we'll peel back the curtain for a moment here.
Yeah.
I believe that when I asked you that question, you were deciding straight answer or punchline. Is that what took a second?
Yeah. I actually like the sprinters.
You do?
Yeah, I really do. I think it's great.
I like team handball. You ever watch team handball?
How about team bocce ball?
I would play that. That's the only Olympic sport that I would have a shot at.
Team handball is pretty intense.
Oh yeah, fast moving game. It's been your Olympic discussion of the night. 2-1 for Moncada. Great start for the Sox tonight. A 7-hit first inning. 6 runs across. 3-run home run for Yermin Mercedes.
And really, before it looked like any kind of an inning at all, Yoan Moncada might have had the biggest at bat of the inning, because he had an opportunity to drive home a run. Runners at first and third, 1 out, and he hit it right off Plesac's glove and started the scoring.
So first 11 games combined, I'm told by Chris Kamka, the Sox had 3 first inning runs. Tonight, 6. Go figure. It all evens out.
That's one of the reasons why it's a great game, because you can think you know what's going to happen, but you never really can predict it.
Moncada went to get that fastball just in case. See, that's the type of swing that he had in 2019 when he was protecting those corners with less passivity.
And I really like him aggressive early in the count, because if he's going to take pitches early, pitchers are just going to come right at him and then put him away with pitches just off the plate.
Slow chopper, first base side. Chang got to feed it, and does to Stephan for out number 2. Time now for the big story presented by Mattress Firm. You can guess who the big story is. It's Yermin Mercedes, who entered tonight leading Major League Baseball in batting average at .500, third in on-base percentage. He's got 3 3-hit games. Entering this season, he was 0 for 1 at the plate. Ever.
Been pretty amazing. Guys are trying to sneak that fastball inside on him, and it looked like that is what Plesac tried to do, only Yermin didn't let him get in there.
He takes a called strike at 96. So we were talking the other day about the story that Jake Mintz did on Fox Sports about Yermin Mercedes, and we have shown you his path. In 2014, he played for multiple independent ball franchises in the Pecos League, and one of his managers didn't like Yermin Mercedes. He wanted to get him out of the lineup. He wanted to get him out of the clubhouse, and so Yermin Yermin's playing for this one team. The manager went across the field and asked the other manager if he wants him. And the guy said, yeah, I think he can hit. Give me that guy. So then they just gave him to the other team.
Sometimes it involves a bag of balls, but not that time apparently.
I mean, the path is so winding for so many people in Major League Baseball, but this is a true bona fide hitter who, I mean, he said it before, he wasn't the most mature guy in the first place, and he had some growing to do, and he's found a home with the White Sox, and thank goodness for that.
You never know where or when the opportunity is going to come. You just have to be prepared when it does, and you could hardly be more prepared than Yermin was after 10 years in the minor leagues.
2-2 up the middle. He did it again. A tumbler up the origin.
Well, they were playing him as a pull hitter, and he took it right back up the middle. Again, they're trying to get inside on him. You can see this inside fastball trying to jam him. That's the logical progression. You miss with breaking balls away. When you go to the fastball, you want to try to jam him. He is not allowing anybody to jam him quite yet. So they're going to keep on trying for soft spots. I mean, they're going to throw him everywhere they can. The one thing that has been impressive about each and every one of his at-bats, he very rarely expands his zone on breaking balls down. He usually just looks at him. He doesn't go out to try to get him.
Well, and you pinpointed it right away. The very first breaking ball Bieber threw him, he watched the whole way and was not confused at all.
Well, you see a lot of pitches in the minor leagues. You don't see a lot of guys that look like Bieber did last night, but you see a lot of pitches, and right now he's seeing everything, and it looks like a beach ball to him.
Nice play by Chang over at first to end Zach Collins' bid for a hit. Sox don't score, but that's new. 6-0. News. Some broadcasts bring you notes.
We, of course, bring you both, and we do it all the time.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? The Atlantic League has partnered with Major League Baseball, the Independent Atlantic League, and they're going to move the mound back 1 foot to 61 feet and 6 inches at the halfway mark of the season. And then you're going to lose the DH when the starting pitcher comes out of the ball game. And the intent there is trying to incentivize keeping the starting pitchers in the game longer.
Well, they can keep him in a lot longer if they move it back to 68 feet.
Where do you stand on those two things?
I don't mind the idea of taking out the DH if you take out the starting pitcher. The Indians wouldn't have one right now. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine.
What about moving the mound?
Not so much in favor of it.
Why not? Pitcher?
Well, number one, going to take a while for these guys to get used to it.
Madrigal to first, so there are some unintended consequences of that.
There
for
are,
sure.
and you know, then you have to decide if you're going to move it back. Do you keep it the same height? You know, there's a lot of thought that if you want to make it easier on guys' arms for both the slider and the curveball, you raise the mound about 3 inches from its current 10 inches to 13. That would help on the breaking ball. You want to move it back a little bit, it takes away some of the velocity. You want to move it back a lot, you take away all the velocity. You want to make it slow pitch softball, you can do that also. But the game has survived pretty well with the dimensions that they have right now. And one of the things that characterizes baseball is they don't change the dimensions.
Right, and Major League Baseball in the minor leagues is doing that in a roundabout way with the larger bases in the minor leagues in the one league this year. So it's more like 89.5 feet from base to base. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't love the changing of the dimensions, but what I do like is that baseball sees that they have a problem with strikeout rate, which is at 25% through the first couple weeks of the season. There are not enough balls in play, and they want to try to do something about it. And the way you try is you tinker.
Well, right now, whatever it is they're doing to the baseball to deaden it somewhat, they're getting more drag on the baseball, but the home runs are approximately the same and will be. Maybe the iron isn't quite as tight on the first couple of revolutions around the ball, but the fact is that the ball is still going a long way. I mean, guys are still hitting at 485 feet like Yermin. I don't think you're going to see a decrease in home runs this year. I think you're going to see about the same amount of home runs. Well,
to your point about drag, the one thing that affects for a pitcher as well is the ability to get movement on the baseball. And there have been some early studies done about this year's effect as Robert in the gap makes the catch. There's more movement on the baseball early. Four-seam fastballs, even more movement on them this year. So that could lead to, number one, you're talking about home runs, but a higher strikeout rate because pitchers can twirl that type of pitch more.
It's kind of interesting because 10 teams have humidors.
Yep.
And the ball reacts differently, and all humidors are not the same either. So one of the things that pitchers have said almost universally is that the seams appear to be a little higher. If the seams are higher, that means the air will grab the seams a lot more, and you'll get quicker rotation and more movement on everything. Fastball, slider, curveball with higher seams. Number one, it's going to be easier for the pitcher to get more spin, and number two, the ball is going to move more. So I'm not sure the exact intention. If it's to bring the home runs down, it's not going to achieve that.
Yep.
But making the seams a little bit higher makes it easier to hold for the pitchers and also easier to spin for the pitchers.
Fastball spin rate is once again at an all-time high in the time that we have measured fastball spin rate as Chang goes up in the air to the third base side. It will be Garcia to make the catch. We didn't have enough time to solve all of baseball's rule problems. Maybe we'll revisit that. We had such a fascinating discussion we can't share with you in the break. It's 6-0 White Sox over Cleveland. Test your luck during every home and away White Sox game this season with the 50-50 raffle. Sox Split presented by Wintrust. On sale now until the end of the 7th inning. Get your Split the Pot 50-50 ticket at whitesox.com/Sox Split. Valid for Illinois residents 18 and over. We've been talking about the cold weather and the effect of drag on the baseball. I have forgotten, doing a lot of games from home over the past year, that there is effect on announcers when it's very cold like it is tonight. Sometimes words don't happen as well as you'd like. In the air, right center for Vaughn, and this is playable at the wall for Naylor. Andrew Vaughn has squared up a couple of baseballs tonight, and he's 1 for 2 to show for it.
That ball hit awfully hard and taken the other way, so a good sign. The double went down the line and left, and a line drive rocket to the gap that Naylor was able to catch, but right in front of the wall.
So if you just joined us, this is an unsanctioned get caught up. If you just joined us, Zach Plesac got knocked out of the game after 2/3 of an inning. The last 5 starting pitchers to allow 5 or more runs and not get out of the first inning against the Sox: Plesac, Nick Turley, but then listen to this: Marcus Stroman, Trevor Bauer, and Liam Hendricks. Back in the Minnesota days, I would presume, when he was a pioneering sinker baller.
Pioneering is the truth. These days he's a riding fastball guy. A four-seamer up in the zone and throwing a whole lot harder, by the way.
His stuff was electric last night.
Whatever he was doing wrong, he figured it out.
Thought you were going to bring Ruby into this.
Nope. He said it was a mechanical thing more than anything else. He looked at something, realized what he did, and maybe just a touch of Ruby.
He's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Leury Garcia. That is as emergency of an emergency swing as you're going to see, and he just got a piece.
He hit the ball very well first time up, and that time he took the ball out of Perez's glove.
Way outside, a changeup, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trevor Stephan in his major league debut season after getting to Double-A and no further in 2019, as Garcia has to dance.
So far he's giving Terry Francona exactly what he wanted, and that is some outs. Anytime your starter leaves in the first, you envision decimating your bullpen, and that's something that no team can afford.
Ball 4, first walk tonight for either team. And now a word from the Home Depot.
Know before you go and avoid any curveballs. Use the Home Depot project calculators to know exactly how much you need.
Indians in the middle of playing 19 games in 20 days. So the last thing they need is to go deep into their bullpen when you don't have an off day for a few more days.
Yeah, and it's a day game tomorrow, too. It's a very quick turnaround to a 1:10 start time with Lance Lynn on the hill for the Sox before the Sox will go to Boston, Terry's old haunts.
Then the Indians head to Cincinnati, and the Reds are stinging the baseball.
Yeah, that's not exactly where you want to land if your bullpen's beleaguered. It's a good slider. All right, so Nick Madrigal, contact percentage, 98.1. Ahead of Cronenworth, Miles Straw, Raimel Tapia, David Fletcher. You know, it's interesting. Nick Madrigal has that contact percentage. And the first thing people ask is, well, when will the power happen? And then you have power hitters, and people say, why do they strike out so much?
When will the contact happen?
Yeah, what? But that also speaks to the rule changes, because I think a lot of people want there to be more baseballs in play, especially people that are more old school. But I think younger fans want that as well. But when a rule change comes around, people say, don't touch the pristine game. And I just do think you have to say you want one or the other. Do you want the strikeouts to go down? If you do, you're going to have to handle some rule change somewhere, somehow, to me.
Or you're going to have to start drafting some players for a different reason. Have 3 guys on your team to be home run hitters and 3 or 4 table setters. And that time with Garcia going, a good defensive swing. Madrigal knew he had to make some contact, and that ball was way wide of the plate. He was able to foul it off and protect Liuri.
To that point, since 2015, the team that's hit more home runs in a game wins 77% of the time. I mean, it's really difficult to argue against that. You want home run hitters to win in the current state of the game. That's what wins ball games. And yeah, that's not great aesthetically for the game, but you have to figure out a way to incentivize that. The contact guys like Madrigal.
Well, the only thing I can really think of is to take a little air out of the baseball, and I mean really take some air out of the baseball, so that your big home run hitters are still going to hit home runs. Stanton is still going to hit home runs. Judge is still going to hit home runs, as is Trout and a number of the big guys. But it's the smaller guys hitting home runs where you lose some of the artistry of the game. And I'm not saying every game has to be 2-1. Every game has to be pitching dominated. But the artistry of the game is in the defense. It's not watching a ball sail over the fence 420 feet. I mean, that's fun. That's exciting. Yeah, everybody cheers. But you lose some of the athleticism and the artistry of this beautiful game that we have.
There it is. Get out your easel and your paints. Nick Madrigal just wanded a ball to right field, and runners are at the corners. That's right what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the game that Nick has to play. He gets tremendous coverage. This ball is probably just off the outside corner, certainly too close to take, and he takes it through the right side. You can't defend him any one way, and it puts runners at the corners. Sox with 1 out looking for more here. But it's nice to have a few of those guys in your lineup. You can't win with 9 Nick Madrigals, but to have a couple of guys that play that kind of baseball as table setters. I mean, Tim Anderson can hit a home run, but Tim is a table setter. That's the ideal type of player. A guy going to hit 20 to 25 home runs and still hit over 300. Steal a base every now and then and score some runs when he gets on.
Look where he hits his ball.
Yeah, I mean, the ball is off the plate. But with as good a hand-eye coordination as he has, he's able to put a good enough part of the bat on the ball to take it through the right side.
The key is the range, to have one of everybody in your lineup. To watch Mercedes do what he did and then watch Nick Madrigal do what he does 4 batters later in the lineup. That's the spectrum of beauty that baseball can provide. There is Mercedes waiting for his next turn in 4 batters.
So Nick is fanned 1 time this year, and if you have this good a memory, then I don't know what your job is. But it was looking, and it was off the plate. It was not a strike. He did strike out. He was called out, and the pitch looked to be 3 inches off the outside corner.
To both of our points, I think you have to give that player a reason to exist in baseball. I mean, you go back and watch Rod Carew on YouTube. What he did.
You have to watch him. I pitched against him.
It
wasn't pleasant.
Audience.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying it was something, and he had power. I mean, he's a guy, if he wanted to, like Ichiro, he could hit a lot of home runs. He just chose not to. He chose to put the ball in play and lead the league in inning. Ichiro was the same type of player. I watched him take batting practice in Seattle. They had a club at the ballpark, and he hit 7 in a row off the glass of the club. I mean, you couldn't get there during the course of a game, but he was able to do it 7 times in a row. It showed me he had as much power as anybody on that team.
Called strike 3. It was there, 2 down in the 3rd.
Pretty good pitch by Stephan. He shaves off the inside corner. That ball actually came back. It started off inside and it drifted back. The guy that did that the best of anybody was Greg Maddux. He was able to do it. It was his right hip fastball that drifted back over the plate. So Terry Francona has gotten what he wants to out of Stephan, and he's going to come down. Pretty good job. So we'll step out as he walks out, and we'll be back.
Presented by Bob Locurcio Auto Group, and it all started in the 1st inning. Yoan Moncada. Steve, you said be aggressive. There he was.
Early in the count, first pitch, and then obliterated baseball. 4-0 Sox. They eventually chased Plesac in the 1st.
Leury Garcia RBI double. Nick Madrigal RBI single. 7 hits in the inning, 6 runs, and now the Indians have used their 2nd reliever of this ball game right now.
Phil Maton comes into this one. Maton on for the 3rd time. We saw him in the opener of this series. He's off to a pretty good start. Obviously not giving up a hit yet is always a good start, but that's only an inning and a 3rd.
Fastball, cutter, curveball. There is the cutter that has slider properties. How well do you think people would do on the game show, cutter or slider?
I think if they could understand depth, they would bet 100%. It is hard to decipher the two, but the slider will go down. They both, right-hander to right-hander, they both move away from the right-hand hitter, but one slides across more and looks like a fastball and is faster, and the slider has some depth to it, and in recent years the slider is getting more and more depth. It's starting to resemble a curveball.
You just said the cutter slides more, so you're just trying to confuse our contestants on cutter or
of
slider.
course I can't make it easy. I mean, that's
right.
That's kind of the nature of the game. I'm trying to get them on semantics.
What do you think the ratings would be like for a cutter or a slider?
Oh, off the charts.
You think?
Yeah, we'd get 3 viewers.
Right after Hanging with Hurt, it's cutter or slider with Jason and Steve. Ball and 2 strikes. Maton to Robert. Curveball in the zone. Luis gives it a ride down the left field line and down and over the wall. That might cost the Sox a run. It'll be an RBI double. Garcia scores, and Madrigal is going to have to return to 3rd. It would have been 8-0. Robert will have to take 7-0.
Luis Robert can hit breaking balls in the zone. I mean, everybody believes when a guy's having trouble with a curve or a slider, he's missing all of them. But this came up rolling on the outer half, and he one-hops it out of the park. So he's got a couple of hits tonight. He's driven in his 5th run of the year. He continues on a nightly basis to look better and better. And when he just swings at strikes, he's going to be a handful.
The man after him 11 years, his elder Jose Abreu takes ball number 1. And look, the Sox are positioning themselves not only for the rest of today but for tomorrow as well with this Cleveland bullpen to try and wear out those arms. We might see a position player throw by the end of this night.
Not quite enough yet, but it's heading there.
2 balls and no strikes. No, I would never. I always like the cart and the horse in the proper arrangement.
Don't put the cart before the horse.
Maybe you have been to France. 2-0 on Abreu. What will Maton throw him here in a danger count? It's 3-0. He doesn't want any part of Jose right now.
Well, I think he figures with first base open, don't give him anything too good to hit, and Jose undoubtedly has a 3-0 green light.
He did in Milwaukee last year.
He likes the 3-0 green light on occasion. We all do.
Especially when we're in a hurry. 3-0. That's called a strike.
Even with the 3-0 green light, you're not swinging at that one because at best it just shaved off the outside of the outside corner.
If we have time after a pitch, we have some numerology to give you. 3-2. So Maton's wearing 88. Luis Robert is wearing 88. And the ball off the bat of Luis Robert to left field went 88 miles an hour. If you have a piano in your living room, please play it.
If you round it down. 88.9, but 88's good enough. I mean, it fits the narrative, certainly.
I'm doing a theme. Lay off.
I get it.
3-2. Jose takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Yoan Moncada. How about this? Jose Abreu's got 8 walks now this year after 18 all of last season.
Well, that's a product of guys not wanting to pitch to him after winning an MVP, and Moncada starting off slowly.
Yoan takes ball 1.
I guarantee you, if Yoan starts swinging the bat the way we know he can, especially from the left side against the right-hand pitcher, Jose's not going to be taking that many walks. And with the bases loaded over the course of his career, Yoan's been really good.
That got him. It grazed him on the way by, and an RBI for Moncada. It's 8-0.
If you're going to get hit, this is probably the best way to do it. It catches just a piece of his wrist, maybe a little of the hand, and he drives in another run, giving him 2 for tonight.
So your mean Mercedes grab a back. Can he?
Adam Duvall drove in 7. his first trip to Atlanta.
Strike one.
Hit it out here, you got your 7. He's not going to do it on that slider. As long as he keeps it low and away.
Ball one, 1 ball, 1 strike on Mercedes. Little bit behind the high fastball, 1-2. Fouled away, right-hand side.
Well, that was described as a cutter, but that one was hanging right there. He just missed it, but it was very hittable.
Phil Maton to Yermin Mercedes. Mercedes missed it. In the air, middle infield, and that will do it. Hernandez makes the catch. Sox get a couple more. It's 8-0 after 3.
Last night, my winning number was 56. It's an easy one to remember. I won't be able to watch this live. I'll actually be out at the ballpark tonight in section 154. It's been awesome being back at the games. Been a great experience. Let's hope the Sox can finish off these 2 games against Cleveland strong and get a couple W's at the end of this homestand. Jason and Steve, I'm tossing it back to you. Here's your Sox math tonight.
That was the most professional Sox math intro we've ever had. Like Mike has a future as an announcer.
There's no doubt about it.
Number of innings the starting pitchers threw last night combined, multiplied by hits they allowed, plus strikeouts they had, minus the number of runs they allowed. Can you beat Mike Cannella? You probably can't tonight because he's sitting at the ballpark. Unless somebody's feeding him the question.
Could very well be.
Carlos Rodón, 9 balls in play, 9 up, 9 down. Through 3 innings, and here's Luplow.
A very long inning last inning, so hopefully he is completely loose. He's been perfect through 3. Doesn't have the stuff he had last time out against Seattle, but he's got great location. And the only thing you worry about is with that long inning, you worry about the location and if it slips away. That's where the concentration comes in. That's where he really has to buckle down, put all his concentration on the next pitch, and it's a fastball away.
2-0. He missed high. 3-0 to Luplow. And we asked our stats people all the way back since 1974 the highest difference in on-base plus slugging versus lefties and versus righties. And Jordan Luplow is #1 since 1974. How about that?
Pretty impressive. And that's why he's still in the league. That's why he hits leadoff and plays center field when a left-hander goes to the mound against the Indians.
Last 50 years or so, he is the best specialist against left-handed pitching compared to what he does against right-handed pitching. Now 3-2. Carlos has rebounded well.
Well, it used to be we used to say that about Brandon Geyer, but Luplow's been a bit better.
You can make an entire career out of that.
Yeah.
Three and two. He struck him out. Oh, and a primal scream from Carlos.
Well, he came back and he got a very good hitter. You fall down 3-0 and you come back and record your first strikeout of the night. That's getting it done. That was the fastest fastball he's thrown. He just reached back. He got 96 when it didn't look like he had that tonight.
Listen in. You think he's competitive?
I think he was pretty happy with the result of that at bat, battling back and ending in a strikeout.
to second. Madrigal. That's 11 in a row.
Follow our Sox insider Vinny Duber at NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because nationwide is on your side. Ooh, pretty good tonight. Yeah, we'll take it. Wrap that up and send it to Cooperstown.
They have an audio section now in Cooperstown. First pitch breaking ball, 1-0 on Jose Ramirez. What's the late chuckle there?
Oh, we
got late chuckle.
Yeah, no, I think we're just starting to hit our stride.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ramirez, who popped out foul to Zach Collins in the first. It's a changeup for a strike, 1-2.
I love the fact that he established that changeup early. He started throwing it in the first inning. He hasn't thrown a lot of them, but when he has, they've been very effective.
High target, high fastball, and it's off the plate, 2-2. Ramirez to left. Andrew Vaughn squeezes the 12th straight out for Carlos Rodón. You never know. 8-0. Tomorrow, and secure your spot at home with a White Sox ticket package. The best way to get priority access to guaranteed rate field this season. For more information, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000. Phil Maton to Zach Collins, and a first pitch chopper foul. Phil Maton sounds like one of those names that you hear when somebody does like a prank call. It's like very close to that sort of cadence, like if his last name was Matt 11. Phil Matt 11.
Well, I'm sure his folks will be very happy to hear that. You can send those cards and letters to the man across the other side of the booth. Phil's parents.
Ground ball to the right side of second. I don't know. It sounds like there's something there. He's a very good pitcher.
He is. Well, look, it's a very proud name in Paducah, Kentucky.
Why are you trying to get me in hot water? Although hot water sounds kind of nice with this 45-degree night.
You mean with the Paducans?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll take a whole lot of these nights. Sox got on top really early, and Carlos Rodón is at the top of his game.
12 up, 12 down for Carlos Rodón as Andrew Vaughn takes a strike. Oh, 2 for Andrew, who's hit the ball well tonight. He's 1 for 2. Long fly ball to right, and a double and a run scored to left. Andrew opened 0 for 9. He is now 3 for his last 7.
He is going to get more play. I mean, we're going to see him a lot coming up, and he is going to be a quality major league hitter.
2 gone here in the 4th. Here's your Sox math answer for today. 16 innings combined for the starting pitchers last night, times 6 hits they allowed, plus 19 strikeouts they recorded. That's 115 minus nothing in the run column. Congratulations, Josh. You are our Sox math winner tonight, and you will introduce Sox math tomorrow afternoon. Southpaw's playing along. Number of hits I would have given up last night. Baseball equals hard. Southpaw said it was 96. Unless you're being Mercedes. Who's doing cue cards for Southpaw out there? That's amazing.
That's his interpreter.
Is it Billy Russo? Southpaw Billy Russo?
No, I don't think so. I just don't think Southpaw speaks Spanish. I know he speaks a lot of languages.
That's amazing that Southpaw a cue card person.
And he's got a whiteboard.
That's awesome. Good job, Southpaw. We love Southpaw. Where did Southpaw's just buying office supplies in the off season? What is happening? I miss having Southpaw come up and visit in the booth.
Yep.
We haven't seen Southpaw in a long while, but kids love Southpaw. I know Southpaw can't wait to get to see everybody whenever we're all safe and sound. And look, it's clear, Steve, from being here, people are having a great time at the ballpark. I know it's different with masks and protocols, but it's also the same. You get to enjoy White Sox baseball, and you feel the energy of everybody else sort of coursing through you. I know it feels different for us from last year.
Well, there is no doubt about it, because when you're home, you just pick up energy from your fans. And the Sox, when they get back together again, are going to have a very exciting team.
Southpaw looks like he's starting to film a demo as that's a close out at first for the next Mission Impossible. 8-0 Sox.
35. Marquette Bank has worked to improve the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners, and everybody else they come in contact with. They're a neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. Better than that, and what could be better than that, they're a bank that cares about your success in our communities. Discover neighborhood banking that feels good at emarquettebank.com. Got it in before the first pitch. Always a plus.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. Carlos Rodón tonight has faced 12 batters. They've all made outs. 1 strikeout, 11 balls in play, and Franmil Reyes is the first batter in this 5th inning. It'll be Reyes, Rosario, and Rosario. First pitch, got a strike inside corner, and he has thrown that changeup for a strike basically at will tonight.
You know, usually see him start off a hitter with that, but he's feeling pretty good about everything he's throwing tonight. If you're going to be really careful with one guy, Reyes would be the guy. Ramirez most likely will be a better hitter. Reyes has huge power.
Yeah, he's just a mammoth guy, as you saw him cut through the 95-mile-an-hour heater.
Carlos is actually throwing harder as this game has moved along. He's only at the 51 pitch mark, and we're in the 5th inning.
In the dirt, hit Collins the bare hand.
Yeah, that doesn't feel too good, and he's looking at his hand now, so hopefully he's okay. We saw Perez get hit in the bare hand on a cross-up last night, and on this slider in the dirt, Zach gets hit right off the palm. Better off the palm than the tip of the fingers.
On a raw night like tonight,
yep,
that is zero fun for Zachary.
You know, the interesting thing about Carlos's outing, he usually does it when he's right with that hard slider. That hasn't been his big pitch tonight. It's been the located fastball and the straight change on occasion. See if he can throw a high fastball by him.
On 2-2, Reyes went up to get it, and he flies it down the first base line and foul. Test your luck in the Queen of Hearts raffle, benefiting White Sox charities. In addition to weekly prizes, one lucky fan will win 50% of the total progressive jackpot, which is over 90 grand. To purchase Queen of Hearts raffle tickets, visit whitesox.com/Queen of Hearts. Two and two from Carlos Rodón to Franmil Reyes. Another high fastball pumped foul. Very clear what the game plan's been this series on wiping out Reyes.
Pretty much the same thing with Ramirez. Just a boatload of high fastballs when you have to go get them.
Breaking ball shattered his bat. Reyes is not in a massive hurry to get to the bat shop before it closes. Still has 13 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. Some of them close at 9. He's a tank.
Yeah, 6'5", and they lovingly say 265. I think he's got a few more lbs than that on his body, but he is huge.
Down in the zone. Moncada sweeps it up at third and rips it to first for the first out of the 5th inning.
13 in a row retired, and fortunately, Yoan was hugging the line. Well played, and from foul territory, he just guns it across.
Jose got it before it scraped the dirt. Carlos says thank you. That's 13 in a row retired by Carlos Rodón to open play tonight. Eddie Rosario well behind 96 that time.
Fastball getting a little more lively as he moves along. The only question you have is, number one, it's a big 8-run lead. Number two, he's just coming off being sick for a day or so, and you wonder just how much he's got left in the tank. But right now, showing no ill effects of anything. I mean, he's throwing as good as he ever has.
Fastest fastball tonight, just over 97 at 97.2. Will this be a breaking ball to wipe out Rosario? He wanted to. You heard our plate umpire tonight,
as
Doug
for
Eddings.
6 baseballs.
Is that how many you got? You got him for?
That's what he says.
6, please.
Yes.
1-2. Rosario laid off 2-2.
That's a frustrating part. You're a pitcher, you know, one slider in the zone, you're going to get him. And then you miss with 2, and now he's back in the at bat.
Got him there. Rosario stepped away from the plate.
That's the one he was looking for.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get one close. Carlos knew it, and he went to 3 in a row, the third of which yielded this swing. That's your heart was in it, but your rear end was not. Yikes.
He ended up in another batting stance.
Yeah. It's the Eddie Goodell stance.
Nice. 2 down for Ahmed Rosario. This fly ball to right. Adam Eaton tracking it toward the line. Adam against the net, and strike 1. Well, the net wasn't there when Adam Eaton was in right field last for the White Sox at home. You figured it would not take long for him to join it.
But he did know exactly where he was and figured, you know what, I'll push the net back and just maybe I can catch it. So that fan lost part of whatever he got from the concession stands in the translation.
It was worth it for the story. To shortstop, Leori Garcia. Abreu's got it and held the bag, and it was dicey, but it's 15 in a row for Carlos Rodón and an 8-0 lead. Your mean Mercedes is having more fun than Zach Plesac tonight. That's for sure. Jason and Steve with you. Look, Carlos Rodón 15 up, 15 down so far, Uncle Steve.
Just a remarkable performance. And, you know, there's a lot of different types of baseball games. Last night was brilliant. Good pitching. It was great. Tonight, a little bit better. The pitching, well, for our Sox, the pitching has been spotless. For their Indians, Plesac had a tough night. Sox got on top and keep pecking away. So this game a whole lot more comfortable than the nail biter that was last night.
Cal Quantrill out of the bullpen for Cleveland. Father Paul, longtime major leaguer. Nick Madrigal to second. Hernandez, a one-hopper. Yikes. Time now for a preview of what's to come on White Sox Post-Game Live, presented by Subaru, Chuck and Company. Sounds good. We'll see what the programming of the post-game show is, depending on what Carlos does for the next 4 innings. 2 gone on the Eden ground ball. Good dancing and singing from Frank.
Got to have a little of both.
He's a man for all seasons.
Yep. You remember a little song, a little dance?
Little seltzer.
Oh, Chuckles the Clown. Yeah, never get enough of that.
Makes me cry thinking about it. By the way, at St. Cruz on Twitter asks, are you guys in Antarctica?
Well, it's been warmer at the ballpark than it is tonight.
You look like Admiral Perry over there. Hernandez is high with the throw. I mean, that was a Goldilocks inning. He was too short, he was too high, and he was just right. It's 8-0. And there's a feeling that transcends generations. It's the love for Las Chivas de Guadalajara. Only Telemundo Chicago brings you every play to make your red and white heart beat faster. Telemundo, the home for Las Chivas. Carlos Rodón, Leori Garcia to first, got it, 1 gone in the 6th. That is 16 up and 16 down for Carlos Rodón in the April chill tonight.
You get a big advantage when it's this chilly and you're down 8-0. The opposing team usually doesn't grind out each and every at bat. Sure, they're looking for a base hit, they're looking for a good pitch, but they don't want to get 3 or 4 off their hands in one at bat. Perez hit the ball very hard. In fact, he probably hit the hardest ball of the night off Carlos Rodón.
It was Luis Robert catching it in the alleyway in right center as Perez takes strike 1 on pitch number 65 from Carlos. Checked his swing.
I got to appeal that.
Yeah. Well,
still got to appeal it.
Yeah, no court costs.
It's one of those. They don't add them up in the course of a game, and there's no downside to appealing it. But no, he didn't swing.
Two and 1 didn't go that time either. Carlos Rodón has been through shoulder trouble, arm trouble. This is his 100th career Major League Baseball appearance, and it has been special so far tonight. He's high there, 3-1 on the Indians catcher.
Well, Perez knows he's going to get a fastball 3-1. Question is, what can he do with it?
Hit it hard to shortstop. Leori Garcia out number 2. How long will we remember that play? That's up to Carlos the rest of the way.
This is as long as he's ever taken a no-hitter. It's tied for his major league high at 5 2/3, and Leori with a one-hop rocket. Perez with 2 shots, the second of which almost took Leori into left center field, but got plenty of time and gets it across.
Carlos says, appreciate you. And a first pitch too tall to Yu Chang.
We, of course, root for all the White Sox players, but you root a little bit more for guys that have been through what Carlos has been through. Tough enough to fight back through 1 major surgery. But after he did that, and the rehab that went with it, and everything psychologically that comes with an injury, he had to go through it a second time. And you have a tendency at that point, some guys say, you know what? Maybe it's just not worth it. Maybe my body will not let me come back. Carlos, he's thrown it as well as he's ever thrown it right now.
I was just going to say to what you're talking about, Carlos and his wife Ashley and his daughter Willow didn't know where was going to be home after last season. They had no idea that they would be back in Chicago. As Dad puts a changeup in there, it's 2-2 for Yu Chang. The crowd starting to sense that tonight has extra intrigue. Yeah, Stan, go for it. Fouled away.
Well, he tried to heat him upstairs, and that was 97, so the fastball is still awfully crisp. I'm wondering if he would dare go back to a changeup.
Two and two. He busted him on the inside corner, and Carlos Rodón exhales. 18 up, 18 down. One more revolution left at Guaranteed Rate Field. Eight 0 Sox, bottom of the sixth inning at Guaranteed Rate Field. Carlos Rodón has faced 18 batters. None have passed. Cal Quantrill, for the reigning AL MVP, and Abreu takes a strike to start the White Sox sixth. Sox got 6 runs in the first inning on 7 hits, including a titanic home run from Yermin Mercedes. Carlos can only think it over in his winter jacket on the bench right now. Outside, 2-1.
Didn't appear to be a whole lot of people talking to him, nor him conversing with anybody else. It was only Mark Burley who would go up and down and tell everybody he either had a no-hitter or a perfect game, and did they know that? Are they watching this? And he would do that all the time in an effort, I guess, to take the pressure off himself, but that was his personality, and it worked for him. In fact, it worked for him a couple of times.
Certainly did. For Carlos Rodón, there's the name hanging over the field here at 35th and Shields. 3-1. Jose takes inside. It's ball 4.
Time now for the T-Mobile coverage cam, and just a wonderful pitch. It's a slider. It catches most of the plate. Certainly too close to take, and Chang can only look back and walk on by. And a lot of emotion from Carlos, who knows he's on the verge of something special here tonight.
Tommy John surgery, shoulder trouble, wrist problems back in 2016. I mean, he has been through the absolute ringer physically. And here's a guy who has never been limited in terms of his competitiveness. And now it will be interesting to watch as the finish line nears how Carlos Rodón handles a situation that he's always wanted to be in. Throw to second, gets 1, and that is all for Cleveland's infield. So now Mercedes, who gets as big of an ovation as anybody at the ballpark nowadays.
It continues to be a magnificent story. 1-0 Sox in the first inning. Yermin steps up and quickly makes it 4-0. On another blast, this one to straightaway left field.
Center field. It falls. 3 hits for Mercedes once again.
Well, on top of hitting him a long way, he also is swinging a magic wand. His base hit in the second trickled up the middle, and this one, not hit hard, drops into center field. So yet another 3-hit game, and the legend continues.
You know, normally when people tell stories of the game they went to, they exaggerate and they say, oh, he did this and he did that, and then it ends up being a larger legend for the fan. But I don't know how you expand on what Mercedes has done. I mean, what you say, oh, he hit a ball that actually went to the moon. Strike one.
Okay, so we came on tonight and this is what we showed you, with no idea that it was going to be once again his night. This t-shirt might become one of the hottest selling items in Chicago. Jason wants one. I told him not yet. You gotta earn your stripes, and certainly no shirt yet.
You are so giving. That's my favorite quality of yours.
Well, I would never give it to you. However, if you want to make a small purchase.
9 major league starts, 3 hits or more in 4 of them for Mercedes.
That's absolutely astonishing.
I mean, come on.
Yep.
0-2. He's downstairs on a change, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and we thank Sheena Quinn once again for the t-shirt. She's come up huge. She brought on the home opener a Mercedes jersey, gone. Then the t-shirt, 3-hit night.
Not bad timing.
It's down 2-2. Appreciate the narration from Doug Eddings behind the plate. He'll tell you where it misses.
We can hear him from up here. He's got a very distinct voice.
Two and two. Zach Collins to left field. Eddie Rosario in left field. Out number 2. Looking to add to your Sox collection? Yeah, you are. Game used baseballs and bases for the month of April are available for pre-order. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/buy-it-now. Carlos Rodón practicing to possibly be Buckingham Fountain. Down the line. Nervous energy comes out in so many ways. Two down, Andrew Vaughn fouls it away. .391 on base percentage for Andrew, who's walked 5 times. Lays off 1 ball 1 strike. If you just joined us, Carlos Rodón has gone 18 up, 18 down against Cleveland. He has to face their order one more time. Checked it. 2-1. Carlos milling, awaiting his turn, back out on the mound. To shortstop and Rosario to second. Come back with us. Carlos Rodón, 18 in a row, retired to open the game. Sox over Cleveland tonight, and download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for the White Sox. An April chill has fallen over the ballpark, and Carlos Rodón climbs that hill again after retiring the first 18 he's seen in Cleveland jerseys tonight. And now he faces a specialist against left-handed pitchers, Jordan Luplow, who looks at an arching curveball Yasmani Grandal told us after Carlos's start in Seattle, he wanted to help make Carlos a 4-pitch pitcher, and we've seen that tonight.
Well, he hasn't used that curveball too often, but now he's starting to mix it in effectively, and that goes with that high fastball.
Past Luplow on a fastball at 96, 0-2. Two strikes. Luplow's cut down. 8 more to get.
Some high heat. This one just a little higher than the last. Out of the strike zone. He starts him off with a hook and puts him away with a high fastball. Hook and a high fastball come out of the same release point, and Luplow was mystified.
First pitch, skied to center. Robert under it. 2 down in the 7th inning. 20 in a row for Carlos Rodón.
That was a straight change on the first pitch, and Hernandez was not even concerned with it. He was looking fastball. He went out to get it. Timing completely disrupted.
First pitch, ball 1 to Jose Ramirez, one of the most dangerous hitters in this Cleveland lineup. This pass through Ramirez and Reyes and Rosario is full of peril for Carlos Rodón. He tied up Ramirez and a foul ball first base side. The first 9 batters tonight against 28-year-old Carlos Rodón all put the ball in play. His first strikeout didn't come until the leadoff man in the 4th inning. His 1-1 for Ramirez is up 2-1. Now this is when the crowd begins to believe the strike zone should be two rectangles wide.
Nose to toes. And 2 bats wide.
2-1. Now it's 3 balls and a strike. Cleveland has not had a base runner tonight. The crowd, in the only way it can, says, Carlos, we're with you. On 3 balls and 1 strike. Ramirez tattoos this ball to Andrew Vaughn right into the young man's glove, and the rookie squeezes the 21st straight out tonight. 8-0 White Sox, but the story is 55 in a White Sox jersey. It is Carlos Rodón, who's faced 21 batters. All have gone away without reaching base. And so Carlos Rodón, returning to the White Sox this year when it was up in the air after last season, has given a thrill to the crowd with 6 more outs to get in the April cold at Guaranteed Rate Field tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We thank you for joining us as the ageless wonder is out of the Cleveland bullpen. Steve?
Oliver Perez, who seemingly started at the turn of the century, is on once again. I mean, he has been around for a long time and getting some work. He's thrown a 1/3 of an inning. He was a left-handed specialist before they invented that position.
And he still is a left-handed specialist now that they've taken it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been remarkable. He was a top quality starter for a long part of his career, and he's turned it into one of those jobs that he continues to do well, and the Indians continue to bring him back.
Oliver Perez made his major league debut June 16th, 2002.
Did a pretty good run for the guy. Just where he's been takes up a whole page. I mean, if you started back in 1999 at Peoria, go to Idaho Falls and Fort Wayne and Lake Elsinore and Mobile and San Diego and Portland and San Diego and Pittsburgh a few times, with Indianapolis in between, and Norfolk, and then the New Yorks, Buffalo, St. Lucie, Brooklyn, everywhere you can think of, he's been there.
I didn't think you were going to finish before the pitch came.
I think it was the Brooklyn Dodgers. That's the thing that's amazing.
You played with Pee Wee Reese.
Oh, Harrisburg and Tacoma in there. Remarkable career.
When Oliver Perez made his major league debut, Carlos Rodón was 9. Struck him out at 89 on a fastball. We have the perfect space for you and your group. Learn more about our private party areas and start planning your outing to the ballpark right now. For more information, call or text 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. One out for Nick Madrigal, who grounded out last time, but is 2 for 3. First pitch, a strike. Now he's going to change the delivery, face away from Madrigal. Little Louis Tiant in there.
And then he ducked on the throw back from Doug Eddings. I'm not sure what he was ducking, but maybe the reflexes aren't quite as good. Or he thought his battery mate, Roberto Perez, was throwing a baseball back at the same time.
Nick to shortstop. Tough play, Rosario. Madrigal's got his 3rd hit tonight.
Well, Oliver decided that he was going to quick pitch him. I mean, no sooner had he come to a set position than he threw the ball home, but Nick was ready. Watch it again right there. I mean, quickly hit very hard, and no chance at shortstop for Rosario.
That on the pitch after he really slowed down his timing.
Yep.
So now Adam Eaton, lefty with Oliver Perez. Left side, foul.
Oliver holds his glove in a most unique way on the mound. I've never really seen anybody do the same thing. But when he comes to a set position, he opens up his glove facing the other way. It looks like he's expecting somebody to throw him a grapefruit.
He does.
Yeah.
It's unlikely at a ball game, but you never know what you're going to see.
You have to be prepared.
On the ground, unlikely to be 2. They're going to try. Can't blame the guy for trying. Time now for a message for Powering Chicago.
Who powers Chicago? We do. Powering Chicago's members consistently help create better construction, better careers, and better communities. Powering Chicago. IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew welcomes you to the possibility of history tonight with Carlos Rodón facing 21 batters. He's retired all of them. And there's a strike to Robert on the swing. Carlos Rodón, the last 6 batters he'll see, 2 of the 6 are left-handers, and Carlos has handled lefties not only tonight very well, but in his career very well. As Robert chops it to first, and that will do it as the inning is over. To the 8th we go. Carlos, your move.
Carlos Rodón, and it's been perfect so far. He's had everything going for him. There hasn't been a whole lot of tough plays. There's been just a couple of hard hit balls, that not being one of them. But this one is a one-hop rocket. Liuri right there to make the play on Perez. And a called third punctuates it.
6 batters between Carlos Rodón and White Sox history. Franmil Reyes is first. The statuesque powerhouse of a Cleveland DH. Ball 1. '85 pitches. Economical night for Carlos Rodón in his second start of 2021. Nearly took him down to a knee. 1-1.
That's one of the great differences in Carlos Rodón these days. The fact is that he has confidence in the changeup and he throws it in the strike zone.
Reyes skyward and playable. Madrigal got out number 1. 5 to go. One down and Bowers will hit.
Doug Eddings is yelling at Tony, the scoreboard's wrong. There's one out. So Bowers was inserted in the game to play first base.
Jake Bowers. Strike 1.
Terry Francona put 2 left-handers in the game. Bowers and Gamble.
1 ball, 1 strike. Lifetime against Carlos Rodón coming in. Lefties have hit .226. That's the 7th lowest in the American League since 2015. Wave and a miss on a slider. 1-2. Crowd rises. 1-2. He laid off. Anything in the zip code is a strike to the sensibilities of those in green seats tonight.
Just get 1 slider in the neighborhood and you end the at bat.
Two and 2. He busted him on a fastball in the attic. 4 to go.
Well, great location for a high fastball. Zach Collins is putting down the right fingers, and Carlos is just throwing him in perfect spots. Up and out of the zone, an area called higher than high, and he throws it by Bowers.
Carlos Rodón is as competitive of a pitcher as you will find. His passion for the game comes through the jersey, and his body wouldn't let him do it for the last 2 seasons. But he's been nails so far tonight. 1 strike to Rosario. Wave and a miss turned him all the way around.
You don't have to throw Rosario a strike. Whether it's up and out of the zone or down, if Collins calls a slider, he's got to be ready to block it.
0-2. He got him! 3 White Sox pitchers all time have gone 27 up, 27 down. 3 outs separate Carlos from being the 4th. American Sale fun at home, and it was real fun at home in the first inning because the Sox trampled home. 6 runs, 7 hits, in the first inning. Yermin Mercedes with a lunar home run. Larry Garcia RBI double. Nick Madrigal RBI single. And the Sox batted around in the first inning. And Carlos Rodón thinking over what lies in front of him with 3 batters to go to be perfect.
Well, Ethan Katz had a conversation with him. You're looking at Brian Shaw as he comes in. You can only wonder what Ethan had to say in a situation that's pretty much self-explanatory. You certainly don't ask him if he wants to go back out there, because you'd need a tractor to pull him out of this one.
First pitch. Ball 1 to Jose Abreu. In about the 6th inning, the crowd started to feel it and really rock with every out. 2-0 on Jose. That was a high cutter, and it's 2-1 from Shaw.
Shaw's velocity is up a couple of ticks this year, and he's one of those guys that always was available for Terry Francona in his last trip of duty with the Indians. I mean, anywhere from 70 to 80 appearances year after year. A couple of times he led the league in appearances. He just took the baseball, and seemingly he was out there at least half the time every year.
It has taken 6 pitchers to sop up now 8 innings for Cleveland tonight after Plesac got bounced after 2/3 of an inning. Into the glove, strike 3. 1 gone. You know, it's been a couple years since the White Sox offense has taken the role of opening act, that it hasn't been the spotlighted part of this team, considering what the offense did last year. But everybody in this ballpark is waiting for Carlos Rodón to trot out of that dugout again. Strike 1. Foul ball, 0-2.
That first inning, you started to think that maybe the offense was going to get on track because they kept hitting the ball hard. First it was Eaton, then it was Robert with a rocket. Moncada almost took the glove off of Plesac on its way to center field, and then Mercedes came up with a bomb.
Cleveland in the 9th will bring up the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Josh Naylor, Roberto Perez, and Yu Chang to face Rodón. They have grounded out 3 times, popped out once, lined out to center. Perez, a hard hit ball, and Rodón struck out Chang last time he saw him in the 6th. Check swing, and he did go at strike 3, 2 down.
Time now for the momentum changer presented by First Midwest Bank, and it is the 3-1 bomb in the first inning. Plesac tried to get a fastball inside, and this one went 431 feet, making it 4-0 at the time. Sox have doubled that, but that's not the story. The 3 hits by Mercedes, not the story. Story is standing in the dugout waiting for 3 more outs, and that is the story. All
he can do is wait for his chance as Mercedes takes a strike. Last year in this ballpark on August the 25th, nobody was here with the exception of the White Sox and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Lucas Giolito put together a gem. Tonight, Carlos Rodón, with fans in the stands, will try to be perfect. In 20, Tyler Kolek. And when the White Sox chose Carlos Rodón at 3, Carlos was asked afterward what it was like to be picked 3rd in the draft. And he said, I will use one word: motivation. He is as competitive of a spirit, as much of a bulldog as you can truly get. He is the type of guy who, if you play foosball against him and beat him, he will want to play you again and again. And the competitive streak that's inside of him works to his advantage, you would imagine, in a moment like this.
Well, coming out of that dugout, he was the only Sox player to come out of the dugout. He walked out by himself and started to go to the mound in a situation that I really wonder if he ever could conceive that he would be in. While he was coming back from the 2 major surgeries, while he was rehabbing and sweating and hurting and wondering if it was really worth it, could he ever conceive that he would be on the precipice of baseball history tonight in this ballpark at this very moment with 3 outs to go? So with that in mind, I'll sit back and watch, and you call it.
Oh, we did it together last time. We're doing it together again. Rodón, first pitch, breaking ball, got a strike, an arching strike. Oh, 1. Naylor can't find it. Oh, 2. Tapper first base side. Abreu is on it. Jose got to the bag. 1 gone. Will it stand?
For me, he's out at first base. I mean, Jose, the only thing he could do was lunge with a foot to first. They're going to take another look at it. And watch the foot.
Oh, I think he got there because the first hand slid past the bag.
He's out at first base. I mean, they're going to look at this as long as they want to. In real time, he was out. And when they look at it, he's still going to be out.
The first hand slid past the bag and away from the bag. This will stand.
If his right hand hit the bag, he's safe. When it went by the bag and the left hand did not beat the leg in, and Jose doing his best stretch and dive to the bag.
We asked the question earlier today, what is your favorite Olympic sport, while doing a promo? The answer is gymnastics tonight. That's an out, Steve.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was out in real time, and I still think he's out. And I think after they review it in New York, he is still going to be out.
It's got to stand.
Well, it is kind of amazing, the call by Brian Knight, and he's out, and 2 to go.
Brilliant play by Jose Abreu, the MVP of the American League last year, just threw a life raft to perfection.
Only one move he could have made to get him. The ball was so slowly hit, Carlos couldn't get there, and Jose could do nothing more than to reach out with one leg as if he was sliding into first base to beat him.
One down. Carlos Rodón. Roberto Perez. Strike one. Strike two. In 1922, Charlie Robertson threw the fifth perfect game ever. It was the White Sox first. Two more have come thereafter. 0-2. Foul back.
That was as hard as any fastball he's thrown. It was over 98 miles an hour upstairs, and Perez was just able to get a piece of it. Now, do you risk bearing a slider, because Perez will screw himself into the ground after looking at 3 high fastballs in a row?
What would you do?
To me, I throw him something off speed. If you feel better with the changeup, you go with that. But the slider, Carlos has supreme confidence in. Zach's got to block it.
Inside, Perez. He got hit by it. Perez got clipped by the slider. Wow. What a way to end the perfect game bid. Carlos is talking to him.
He said, really, can't you fake this one? It actually got him off the top of the foot.
My goodness. Carlos Rodón will not be perfect tonight, but the no-hitter is still available. Off the top of the shoe after 25 straight, streamlined, crystal clear boxes on a score sheet. Perez off the shoe is on. The no-hitter is still alive, and here is Chang. He almost got hit as well. 1-0. Crowd is very unhappy with Perez for not getting out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Rodón has to recalibrate after the first base runner tonight. It's 1-2 on Chang. .28 years old, on a North Carolina State. Carlos Rodón on 1-2. Called strike 3 on the inside corner or in the neighborhood, and 1 out for a no-hitter.
That was exactly the spot of the called strikeout in the 6th inning. It cut across the plate. It had the inside corner, and he's 1 out away.
Carlos Rodón, over the past 2 seasons of Major League Baseball, has thrown in 11 regular season games. First pitch, a strike. It has been a non-stop barrage of injuries. Tommy John surgery, shoulder trouble, 7 games in 2019, 4 last year. And now he faces a menace to lefties, Luplow. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two strikes on prospective out number 27. A top-notch competitor with baseball in his blood for his entire life. Carlos Rodón. On 1-2. Upstairs, Carlos was ready to dance. He said yeah. Luplow said no.
He reached back and got 99, the fastest pitch of the night on pitch number 110. Some life in that arm still? You bet.
Two and two. At points, Carlos Rodón didn't know, number one, where he'd pitch next, and number two, if he'd pitch next. He's one pitch away from being remembered forever. 2-2. Upstairs. For Lucas Giolito's no-hitter, nobody was able to take video in the ballpark tonight on 3-2. Luplow smokes it foul off a slider. And Cleveland, Steve, is really making Carlos Rodón work.
You wouldn't expect anything else.
Hoping, believing, remembering. Focusing. 3-2. Rodón to third. Moncada. Carlos Rodón has thrown a no-hitter. After everything he's been through, the elbow and the shoulder were supreme on April 14th, 2021. So Lucas Giolito last year went from the worst pitcher in baseball to no-hitter remembrance forever. Carlos Rodón tonight has gone from I don't know if I'll ever do this again. I don't know if I'll ever get to the level that I wanted to be at, to name in history book forevermore.
One shoelace away from perfection. And you never really know what you're going to see when you have an opportunity to come to the ballpark. We saw one last year. We see one this year. Both dominating. And this one was something special for Carlos Rodón. The game was never in doubt after the first inning. The only doubt was, would he get the no-hitter? Answered by Moncada. And what a night.
So your mean Mercedes faster than a V8 engine out of the dugout.
Don't land on Carlos, please.
I'll tell you what, Steve, I'm happy for everybody who got to be in the ballpark tonight, because we saw it last year with Giolito, but we only saw it. Sox fans have waited a long time to see this team become what it is right now and what it's going to be. And Carlos Rodón has waited a long time to see himself as this. And he is going to join us from downstairs.
What's up, man?
Carlos, dude, congratulations.
What just happened?
Where's your mind right now, Carlos?
On a toe ball. No, man, that was awesome. Full team effort. Holy crap. I can't believe it. I can't.
Hey, if I told you a couple of years ago when you've been dealing with all the injury stuff that you were going to throw a no-hitter, what would you have told me?
Take a hike. Take a hike.
When did you have a feeling in this one, Carlos, like this was going to turn into something special?
After Ramirez hit that, I mean, it was 3-1 count, or I had him 3-0, and I went fastball. In that 3-1 count, he knew I was throwing a fastball. I knew I was throwing a fastball. You guys probably knew I was throwing a fastball. And someone's dog in Kentucky knew too. But when that ball was caught and it came off the bat at like 170 miles an hour, that's kind of where I started feeling it.
What does this mean to you and your heart?
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's going to be cold.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of work, a lot of people, a lot of help. Went into this to come back, and I'm just happy. I'm happy I'm here again. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
What do you mean by that?
Just a lot of work in the off season. A lot of people still believing in me, and me believing in myself, knowing I can still do it.
When the White Sox came to you after last season and said, "We want you back," was it a difficult decision for you to come back?
Not really. It was pretty easy. And knowing I was going to win and be on a winning team after being on those teams that, scuffled a little bit in the beginning. I just wanted to be, here for the end of the rebuild, the winning part. So it wasn't a hard decision.
Hey, how about Pito at first?
Oh, yeah. I wanted him to be careful about hurt himself. But a hell of a play, man. Hell of a play. There were some big plays made at short. I mean, you go through that game, there's quite a few plays that led to this result.
Carlos, was there any time in the rehabs, and you've had a number of them, where you said to yourself, you know what, maybe I'm just not meant to be this guy?
There were days. With TJ, there's quite a few days, so there's plenty of days to think about it. But like I said, I guess it's all working out now.
Hey, if you did this 4 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say this. Your daughter watched you throw a no-hitter.
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable, man. My glove says Willow too, by the way, so that's a special glove. It was
really?
before. Now it's even more special.
Carlos, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome
job.
work.
Thank you.
People will remember this forever, my friend.
Yeah, that was fun. I'll see you guys.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go celebrate. See y'all.
That dude has been through so much, and you hear the Sox fans' reaction. Carlos Rodón has been a when will it? Will it ever? Will we see him again? And a lot of the questions in one night just go away because he's a part of baseball history, Steve.
Well, nobody knew when last year ended that he was going to come back. There were certainly no guarantees. And then the Sox said, okay, well, we're looking at our roster and, we'll let him go. And then taking a look at what they had and realizing what was inside of him. They knew him. They drafted him. They developed him. They knew what was inside of him, and they knew that he would work his way back if given the opportunity. And he got the opportunity to just compete for the 5th starting spot. He won it out of spring training, and who knew 2 games into this season, with one, by the way, interrupted because he was sick a couple of days ago, but after 2 games, he's throwing the ball as well as anybody on this staff. And tonight was just icing on the cake because just the fact that he is back and throwing the baseball as he's throwing it is a gift. He understands that. The Sox understand that. But right now, in 2 starts, not many guys in baseball throwing it better than Carlos is.
names come and go in baseball history, but when you throw a no-hitter, your name stays. And Carlos Rodón tonight got 19 swings and misses, and we talked about his competitiveness all night. First thing he says is, I'm thinking about a ball on the toe.
Yep.
He
shoelace away from a perfect game. That's what it was. And I think he said that to Perez as Perez went down to first base. I think he said, couldn't you get out of the way of that one? I don't think Perez wanted to get hit with it on a cold night, but on a slider that was chasing him into the right-handed batter's box, he couldn't get his foot out of the way, and that ended the perfect game. But the no-hitter, just as exciting. Nice play by Moncada to end it. There were a few nice plays, a couple of hard-hit balls, but in the end, Carlos Rodón staked to the early lead. As the tension grew, he got better and better, and as the innings went by, he threw harder and harder, where he came close to throwing 100 in the last inning, topped out at 99 plus, and that shows you he still had plenty left in that arm and still had a whole lot left in that heart.
The dude wants to win,
Yep.
and he won the day in a big way tonight at Guaranteed Rate Field. And if the Sox keep doing this, Steve, people are going to think it happens every year. Giolito last year, Carlos this year. The 20th no-hitter in Chicago White Sox history was almost a perfecto, but he will absolutely take it. Carlos Rodón, a no-hitter tonight against the Cleveland Indians. What a night. Steve?
One you put in your memory banks. There's certain things you'll never forget. Doesn't matter how long we do what we do. Doesn't matter how long he does what he does. But this is one of those nights that you're not going to forget.
Yermin Mercedes like a rocket out of the dugout to celebrate with his guy, and Zach Collins caught it. Phenomenal from Carlos Rodón. Our crew is phenomenal as well. Chris Withers, our producer. Our director, Andrew Blaustein. Our associate producer, Chris Kamka. Everybody associated with White Sox baseball. For Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti. You watched history tonight. To the studio, Chuck, guys, take it.